Today on Investigate TV Plus Weekend, online bargain auto parts might be too good to be true as counterfeits flood the market.
The bad guys are taking advantage of that trusted brand to make money.
They're substandard, they don't meet the health and safety regulations and specifications we require.
Plus, pedestrians in peril, dangerous roads and reckless driving fuel fatalities as cities work to find solutions.
I've seen people get hit, almost get hit. You got elderly, you got children, you got disabled people. When is it going to be enough?
And they're the heroes who race to save lives, only to risk their own on the roadside.
We see, I'm going to say regularly, close calls, typically on the interstate where vehicles come within the emergency scene zone just too close.
Investigate TV Plus Weekend starts right now. Hello and welcome to Investigate TV Plus Weekend. I'm Lee Zurich. Counterfeit auto parts are crossing into this country and ending up in our vehicles, and it could be putting your family at risk. Reporter Rachel DePompa got a look at some of the fake car parts being seized at our border, so you know how to keep your vehicle and ultimately your loved ones safe.
Whether you get into a crash, or maybe you're trying to keep your older vehicle running, inevitably, you may need new car parts. But experts say you need to be careful where you buy them from. Oil filters, airbags, brake pads. These look like name brand auto products, but everything you see here is fake.
The bad guys are taking advantage of that trusted brand to make money.
Everything here seized by investigators at our borders, by people like Andrew Lee. He's a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations. The wheel sitting upright on this table is real. The other one is counterfeit. The fake one broke apart in a car crash.
This is the genuine. Try to lift it up.
Yeah.
Right?
It's heavy.
It's heavy. Try to lift this up.
This is light. Lighter.
Right. Even though we have a piece broken off, you could tell the difference in weight.
Yeah.
Right?
And this, it's not supposed to break like that.
No, it's not.
HSI works closely with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. In the last year, the two agencies have seen an almost 100% increase in the number of counterfeit auto parts seized at the ports. Products like these.
I think of the potential lives that were saved because we were able to have them here and they didn't make their way into a vehicle.
Chris Mobilatini is a director with CBP's Office of Trade. That's the first line of defense at the border where products are shipped or flown into this country. He says a lot of these products are being sold by criminal organizations trying to make a quick buck to pay for other illicit activities.
They're substandard, they don't meet the health and safety regulations and specifications we require, so they're able to invest very little and make quite a bit.
The CBP seized more than 839,000 counterfeit auto parts over the last 5 years. That's a retail value of more than $60 million. We're talking about fake spark plugs, keys, even fake emblems that look like they're from the major auto retailers. Someone could put them on a part to make you think you're getting something from a reputable brand. And motor oil was the most counterfeited item last year, CBP seizing more than 89,000 units.
These are CBP photos of $200,000 in counterfeit auto parts seized from a Philadelphia-bound shipment. It was full of fake airbag covers, fenders, bumpers, and trademarked logos for Chevrolet, Buick, and Dodge. So how does this affect you? Homeland Security Investigations is aware of at least 3 fatalities and 2 life-altering injuries in a recent 9-month period tied to the distribution of fake auto parts.
Do you believe that there could be more deaths and fatalities out there that we're just not aware of?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Our national investigative team dug through court records and found several lawsuits filed across the country, one involving the death of a 22-year-old mother of 2 in Florida. This is her Chevy Malibu. The pending lawsuit claims she died when a counterfeit airbag unknowingly installed in her Chevy detonated like a grenade during a crash. In California, Ford sued a Chinese company for selling fake Ford-branded products to consumers and third-party resellers. The Chinese company settled, paying more than $4 million in damages.
In this business, a lot of things do come from overseas. That's just the reality. But we have to make sure what's coming over has to be is going to be legitimate and not, someone passing something off for something it's not.
D.P. Springer is the vice president of an auto parts warehouse distributor that's been around for 40 years in New Orleans. He says he does see a lot of people buying online and showing up at his shop asking for help. He's not sure if what they bought is counterfeit or if it's just the wrong part.
You really hope that the worst thing that happens is you buy a part, you don't need the part, you may have installed the part, doesn't fix your problem, but it's not going to cause any life-altering consequences would be the hope.
But there are bad actors out there. In the last 5 years, HSI initiated 100 criminal cases for counterfeit auto parts, which led to 33 arrests, 31 indictments, and 28 convictions. A Memphis man pleaded guilty last year to selling counterfeit airbags from China on eBay.
A lot of people are going online to find cheaper auto parts, scouring the internet for the best prices. So how do you steer clear of a fake? One way is to go to trusted mechanics, aftermarket auto parts sellers, and dealerships and ask them questions. If the part is salvaged from a scrapyard, the seller should be able to provide a VIN number for the vehicle the part came from, or the part could be marked with a serial number or emblem depending on the manufacturer.
Look at where the product is coming from. See if you can find out who the manufacturer is for that component, what country is it coming from. A lot of the online marketplaces and e-commerce sites have more information. You may just have to dig a little bit into the site.
Airbags should not come in several pieces you have to assemble. And if the trademarks and emblems are sent to you in separate packages, that could be a sign of a fake.
Sometimes in the process of saving money, you could very well end up purchasing something unwittingly that could potentially be a danger to yourself and others.
Anyone suspecting a counterfeit part should contact the National Intellectual Property Rights Coordination Center or the Brand Protection Department for that automaker. You can find this information by searching Brakes on Fakes at InvestigateTV.com.
Too often I hear families complain, I don't feel safe allowing my kid to cross the street. I don't feel safe allowing my kid to bike to school.
Coming up, crossing the street has become a dangerous decision in some U.S. cities. An in-depth look at possible solutions to protect pedestrians next. Pedestrian deaths in the U.S. have hit a 40-year high, with fatalities rising sharply over the past decade. Experts point to less traffic enforcement, more speeding, and roads designed for cars over people. Phoenix, which ranks among the deadliest cities for pedestrians, is now working on solutions. Reporter Amy Cutler explores what's being done to save lives.
For most of us, the morning commute is routine, maybe a little stressful, but not life and death.
What's it like trying to cross this intersection?
Disaster area would be putting it mildly.
That's how Patrick Beck describes crossing Indian School at 67th Avenue to get from the bus stop to the Fry's where he works. It's one of the city's high-injury network intersections, meaning it's flagged for how many serious and deadly crashes have happened here. Phoenix data shows between 2019 and 2023, 2 people were killed, 116 injured.
I've seen people get hit, almost get hit. You got elderly, you got children, you got disabled people. When is it going to be enough?
Patrick already survived a car hitting him. 5 years ago, as he crossed 7th Street north of Camelback, he was in the crosswalk, and the driver never stopped.
The driver cut 4 lanes of traffic, slammed into me. launched me.
He's now left with a scar after doctors repaired his shattered ankle.
It's 17 inches of screws holding it all together.
His wife Brenda says drivers are the problem.
They don't pay attention to you. I've been almost hit numerous times.
Numbers back up their experiences. City data shows pedestrians are involved in 44% of all deadly crashes in Phoenix.
Every person is a story.
Jorge Riveros is an engineer with Phoenix's Street Transportation Department. He says these troubling trends are why city leaders adopted Vision Zero back in 2022, a program aimed at preventing all traffic deaths.
Do you see zero fatalities as a realistic goal here?
You know, it's a difficult question. I mean, idealistically, that's what we'd all love to see.
To help get there, the city leans on data and neighbor input. There's a community advisory committee.
Too often I hear families complain, I don't feel safe allowing my kid to cross the street. I don't feel safe allowing my kid to bike to school.
Ed Hermes chairs that committee.
We can't keep doing what we've done in the past in terms of our street design and just prioritizing speed over everything. I'm disappointed of where we're at right now. We need to do more.
But changes cost money. Specialized crosswalk signals are about $250,000 each. When the city council voted to adopt Vision Zero, they approved $10 million a year to implement it.
2 years in, do you think the city is committing enough money to making this happen?
I think so, yes. I definitely believe from where it was to where it is now, definitely a lot more money.
Hermes disagrees.
This is a man-made problem. And because it's a design problem, in large part, with our street design, it's also a problem we can solve.
But in its own report, the city lists 7 projects to make roads safer for pedestrians and bicyclists. Only 2 are marked as completed. 2 are not complete, and tracking for the others hasn't even started.
It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take the political will to prioritize safety.
There is also an equity issue. Most of these high-injury networks are on the west side in poorer communities.
Those are all things that we look at and try to understand, are there higher rates of walking in these areas? Are there higher rates of, again, taking transit or bicycling?
At 59th Avenue and Indian School, the Becks are living this every day.
When you cross the street, what goes through your minds?
Is somebody going to run the red light? Am I going to be the next person who is seen on TV that has either died or been severely injured?
More than 60 cities in the U.S. have adopted Vision Zero, including Atlanta, Charlotte, and Portland. New York City, which has the longest history of Vision Zero work in the country, reduced overall traffic deaths by more than 12% and pedestrian deaths by 45% between 2013 and 23, according to the city's Department of Transportation.
I spent 2 weeks on life support before I woke up, and when I woke up, I didn't have a clue what had happened.
Up next, a tractor trailer slams into a state trooper on the side of the road, throwing him 330 feet and setting his car on fire. We examine the dangers first responders face, even with stronger laws in place. These frightening videos show just how dangerous it can be for first responders and highway crews working on the roads. Despite move-over laws in place nationwide, too many drivers fail to give emergency crews space, leading to dangerous and sometimes deadly collisions. Brittany Tarwater in Knoxville hears from those who have survived close calls and the push to protect those still out on the roads.
There are days in life we never forget.
March the 13th, 2012.
When then Tennessee Highway Patrol Sergeant Lowell Russell barely survived.
Oh, it was actually 2:50 a.m. I was on the side of I-40.
When an 18-wheeler slammed into his cruiser.
Knocked me 330 feet, and then, of course, the car burst into flames, and that's all she wrote.
The driver admitted to falling asleep behind the wheel.
I spent 2 weeks on life support before I woke up, and when I woke up I didn't have a clue what had happened. It felt like I just went to sleep one night and just woke up in the hospital.
they are unfortunately in a very dangerous position, and we've seen that time and time again.
Tennessee Department of Transportation's Mark Nagy says their trucks have been struck 73 times since the start of this year, 18 of them in East Tennessee.
We've had 113 of our TDOT workers that have been killed in the line of duty since those records began being kept in the late 1940s, and that's 113 too many.
Last year, 2 large Knoxville fire trucks were hit, costing the department about $100,000 in repairs, and taking those trucks out of the response rotation.
A car will travel into where we're operating at. They won't hit anything, and then they'll just continue on, almost like they never even saw us.
KFD positions fire trucks in front of a scene to protect responders and people involved in a wreck, but says between distracted and sleepy drivers, medical emergencies behind the wheel, DUI, and more people on our roads, they're seeing close calls and strikes more than ever before.
We see, I'm going to say regularly, close calls, typically on the interstate where vehicles come within the emergency scene zone just too close.
Did you not see him? You came like that close to him.
Oh, it probably happens on just about every call.
Jeff Bagwell has been with Rural Metro since 1989. He says close calls are no surprise. In fact, he was hit while responding to a wreck.
It was in the middle of a storm, and we were essentially working on a patient and getting them out of a car. A person that was going way too fast was not paying attention, and luckily all he did was clip me with his mirror.
More common than they'd like it to be. The second time in just 3 months at Knoxville Police Department. In September, Knoxville police officer Jose Somoza was responding to a wreck on I-40 in West Knoxville.
And that's when I received the impact from behind.
The Marine Corps veteran turned Knoxville police officer and father of 3 was hit by an accused drunk driver.
So my first reaction was to get out and ask them to make sure they were okay, ask them if they needed an ambulance, and went from there.
Somoza knows he is one of the lucky ones. In 2000, Knox County Sheriff's Deputy Angela Payne was hit and killed by a car while confronting a shooting suspect. 48-year-old Loudoun County Sheriff's Deputy Chris Jenkins hit and killed in 2022 while getting out of his cruiser to remove a ladder from I-75 by a truck driver who admitted to being under the influence. Tennessee enhanced its move-over law in 2023, requiring drivers to move over a lane of traffic for any stopped vehicle with flashing lights. The penalty for violating the law is up to $2,500 and possibly 30 days in jail. Tennessee Highway Patrol issued 91 violations in Knox County in 2022, the most of any county in the state. A poll sponsored by the National Safety Commission shows more than 70% of Americans have never heard of a move-over law. The driver who hit Russell was charged with vehicular assault, but after a letter was sent begging the judge for mercy, he was sentenced to a year probation.
You know, he was just out making a living as a truck driver, and I thought that he didn't intentionally run over me in my patrol car, so I felt it was something I needed to do as a person to forgive.
The letter was written by Russell.
Several states have strengthened their move-over laws in recent years to require drivers to move over or slow down for any disabled vehicle with hazard lights, not just emergency or tow trucks. You can learn more information about your state's law at moveoveramerica.com.
Get her out of there! Get her out! Get her out, dude!
Coming up, a truck engulfed in flames, a daring rescue, and a simple tool that could save your life. The must-have items experts say every driver needs after the break. Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms. A fiery crash prompts conversations about safety and emergency preparedness on the road. As flames engulf this pickup truck, quick-thinking bystanders and first responders jump into action, some using fire extinguishers to help. Susan Campbell in Arizona spoke with safety experts who say having the right tools in your car could mean the difference between life and death.
When you see this video, it's hard to not think about all of the what ifs. And what would you do if you were ever in that situation? So we're going to arm you with some information that could help protect your family or someone else's family in an emergency.
Within moments of this crash, the truck is on fire and a desperate rescue begins. A police officer and firefighter happened to be right there.
I was so relieved once that window broke.
While first responders scrambled to get Amy Ruiz out of her truck, you can see another driver using a fire extinguisher on the vehicle.
Do we all need to have fire extinguishers in our cars?
That's a great question. So I think it would be a very, very smart idea to have extinguishers in your vehicles, whether it's for your own emergency or someone else's emergency.
Isaac Thompson is an inspector and investigator with the Mesa Fire Department. We asked him to help us prepare for those emergency situations.
ABC extinguishers are what we recommend for vehicles. They're kind of the extinguisher that you can use for everything.
It's important to maintain your fire extinguisher. Make sure it's not expired and check the gauge for pressure.
When that yellow pin is in the green, that means that you're ready to go.
It's also important to properly mount the fire extinguisher.
We want to mount them in a place where you can easily access them, but in the event of an accident, they're going to stay stationary in that mount and that they're not going to be flying around in the vehicle.
Here's one example of an extinguisher mounted in the trunk of a car. Here it is in the back of an SUV.
And I've even seen some of the mounts as like Velcro, and obviously you want to use the manufactured recommended mount that comes with the extinguisher as well.
If you ever have to use the fire extinguisher, remember the word pass. Pull the pin, aim at the fire, squeeze the handle, and sweep.
Sweeping, keep sweeping at the base of the fire.
How much of a difference can a fire extinguisher make in a vehicle fire?
So it may not be able to extinguish the actual vehicle fire, but it does help in the event of trying to get someone out of the vehicle or help better those chances of rescuing someone.
So again, look for an ABC fire extinguisher. The lifespan of a typical single-use extinguisher is about 12 years before it expires.
Safety experts stress the importance of making sure these life-saving tools are within easy reach and checking them regularly to ensure they're in working order. And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us here on Investigate TV Plus Weekend. You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime online. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel at Investigate TV. You can catch stories and full episodes.